180935, an ordinance amending Chapter 19-3200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Keystone Opportunity Zone, Economic Development District, and Strategic Development Area by requiring that applications for zone designation include opportunity plans that provide for apprenticeship and other work opportunities for students enrolled in the school district career and technical education programs, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you very much. We'll begin with Deputy Director, Commerce, Dwayne Baum, and we have many people to testify. Matt Stafford, Business Agent for the Bricklayers Union, Melanie McCautry, Board Member for Youth Build. After that, we have Jihad Ali, if he is here. We know him from leading in the community. Anthony Fullard, which are you for this bill or for the tobacco one? And Anthony Fullard, so all of you can come forward, those of you who are here, and sit inside the gate, and we will keep our testimony moving. I did see Jihad Ali, I see him, and I did see Anthony Fullard. So come right in and sit in the black chairs behind the witness table. Thank you very much. We welcome you, ask you to make your testimony and identify yourself for the record. Mr. President, would you like to testify first? Absolutely. This is President Darrell Clarke's bill, and we recognize him for comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And good morning. Still morning. Good morning. Thank you, members of the committee. I just briefly wanted to say that this is legislation that came about as a result of broader conversation around tax incentives. As you know, you've seen a series of stories in the paper about tax incentive programs that are given quite lucrative, KOZs, tax abatement. It was actually a story, I believe, the councilwoman texted me yesterday about a story in the paper about how much money the school district is losing as a result of some of our tax abatement and tax incentive policies. So the simple reality is that a lot of these are obviously authorized by the state and some as of right. But we thought it was prudent and that we, the city, wherever possible, require or strongly encourage that some of those entities or developers or people who are applicants of some of these particular tax exemptions and tax, I don't want to use the term giveaways because that'll be a little too charged, but bottom line is that there needs to be some give back. So during the most recent KOZ proposal that went through Commerce, and we have been talking with Dwayne and the folks at Commerce about that, we felt that a number of those locations and a number of those businesses could, in fact, create an environment that could be advantageous to the citizens of the city of Philadelphia. And we were actually somewhat pleased at a number of the potential, because I know nobody's been approved in terms of the finalization of their particular proposal, that there was significant support for creating an environment where anyone getting being in a Keystone Opportunity Zone would be prepared to do some things as it relates to supporting, in this particular case, young people in the Philadelphia School District and other school districts in the city of Philadelphia for CTE or similar types of program. So this legislation was crafted with that in mind, and after significant conversation with those potential operators in the KOZs to make sure that they present opportunities for the people that live here in the city of Philadelphia, and they get those awesome opportunities. And so this legislation was done for that purpose. I know there's been some discussion with respect to the law department about our ability as a municipality in terms of how much we can actually require. There may be a little different perspective between the law department and the City Council of Philadelphia, but at the end of the day, this city council and the city council before them, we believe that if we didn't push the envelope, a whole lot of things would have never happened. So with that in mind, we will have, I believe, some good testimony by some of the individuals who come in to support this particular bill. And I'm just asking my colleagues and members that if we can move forward on this legislation, and if there are any issues with respect to any state requirements / mandates or limitations, that we can address that at that time. But this is clearly something that we need to do. No time better than now to ensure that at the end of the CTE process, when these young people go to school, they learn, they get a skill. If you don't have, at the end of the day, a job or a career for those individuals, they will have felt that they have wasted their time, and that's the worst thing that we can do as a city. So with that, thank you. I want to thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are very, very excited because we need this legislation for KOZs and for every private or institutional work that they need, that where our support is needed, from zoning to everything. We're very excited about this bill and certainly look forward to hearing this testimony. Again, thank you for being here. Please identify yourself for the record and begin your testimony.
Good morning, Councilwoman Blackwell and members of the Committee on Finance. My name is Dwayne Bum. I am the Senior Deputy Director for Business Development with the Commerce Department. I am here this morning to offer testimony regarding Bill number 180935, which would compel businesses located in a Keystone Opportunity Zone to agree to opportunity plans that require those businesses to provide for apprenticeship and other work opportunities for students enrolled in school district career and technical education programs. The Keystone Opportunity Zone program is a state program created in 1999 to stimulate development on vacant or underutilized parcels of land. Through this program, both local and state taxes are waived for a period of 10 years. Since the program was launched by the Commonwealth, the City of Philadelphia has applied for and received Keystone Opportunity Zone designations numerous times with the authorization of City Council and the School District of Philadelphia. This has allowed the city to spur economic development and attract businesses that may not otherwise choose to develop or locate in Philadelphia, and has generated hundreds of millions of dollars in private investment and more than 10,000 local jobs in our city. Further, for all KOZ parcels, the city requires the private owner to make a payment in lieu of taxes, also known as a pilot, in the amount of 110% of what otherwise would have been the real estate tax liability for the property in its current condition. The pilot payment is allocated to the school district and the general fund in the same proportion as real estate tax revenues. In reviewing Bill number 180935, we sought the opinion from the city's law department regarding the city's legal authority to impose conditions on the state's Keystone Opportunity Zone program. We have shared with Council the opinion provided to the Commerce Department, which states that this bill, if it were to be enacted, is outside the Council's power to enact. Indeed, imposition of the contemplated requirements on KOZ-related businesses is outside the administration's authority as well, as the General Assembly has established a carefully designed and defined program of rights and responsibilities with respect to KOZ-related businesses and local governments, and the city lacks the authority to deviate therefrom or to add enhancements thereto. While the Department of Commerce is clear that it does not want to create processes or conditions that would put the city's existing and future KOZ status at risk, we do share the goal of creating more internship, apprenticeship, and workplace experiences for young people. Indeed, the city's workforce strategy, Fueling the Talent Engine, sets a goal of connecting all Philadelphia public school students to a high-quality work experience before graduation to prepare them for college and career. In the spirit of finding a lawful means of meeting this shared goal, the Commerce Department is prepared to develop a one-page survey regarding potential internships and career exposure opportunities that we would then distribute to beneficiaries of any incentive, including KOZ, to gauge interest in providing opportunities to middle and high school students enrolled in the School District of Philadelphia. Beneficiaries would be asked to fill out this voluntary form when they complete their annual self-reporting survey. We are also considering utilizing this voluntary survey in association with other programs and partners. We thank Council for your advocacy and partnership in these important areas of economic development and workforce development, and look forward to continued collaboration. This concludes my testimony, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So we assume that programs that may not now be in existence, like Pen Assist, which is a new program we started last year, one that we want to begin with brandy, wine, and drugs, so that all educational CTE, CAP programs, all educational programs can be included in this program, in this bill. We assume that you support that.
We support encouraging the links to education for all job opportunities that are that receive some public assistance, yes.
Thank you very much. President Darrell Clarke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your testimony, sir. So this is my concern, all right. When the enactment or the authorization of the last KOZs, there was significant concerns raised by the school district, primarily focused around revenue and therefore the lack of revenue from businesses moving in and having a 10-year exemption. And there was also issues with respects to concerns raised about opportunities. And City Council, we moved ahead based on folks from the administration lobbying us to move forward. And you did not prepare or suggest that you were going to prepare any document that would show an alternative strategy for creating opportunities for young people. So City Council now introduces an ordinance, right, that clearly defines what it is we would like to see as it relates to opportunities for young people. And now I'm hearing you testify today that you're prepared to introduce a one-page document that reflects the commitment for young people as a result of a program. And this continues to be my concern, that we don't see a proactive approach to ensuring that young people and City of Philadelphia residents have these opportunities until you, and I hate to use the term pushed or prodded by this council in terms of legislation. So again, as I said earlier, this council will continue to push the envelope in terms of making sure that there's some equity as it relates to tax revenue, because this is taxpayers' money that we're giving to developers and other entities in these KOZs, that at the end of the day, people in these neighborhoods and people in the City of Philadelphia benefit. All right, so now we hear that you now want to do something with respect to ensuring some opportunities. So again, I'm going to ask, if in fact we can proceed, and maybe you'll come up with even more as this bill moves down the path to ultimate passage, all right? All right, so I'm just concerned about how this thing functions. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm done.
Councilwoman Reynolds Brown.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Too often we are informed about why something is not doable. Let's look at the glass as half full instead of half empty. On the meetings, or in the meetings that you and your colleagues have in your department, is there ever any topic, discussion, conversation about why we as a city need to do better when it comes to ensuring that young people have job opportunities at the end of their CTE careers? Has that ever been on the agenda at any time over the last 18 years?
Councilwoman, workforce training and career development for young people is central to economic development. It is always part of the discussion and agenda. I would note that earlier this year, the administration created the Office of Workforce Development specifically to make sure we were making the connection between young people coming out of school and their career and college opportunities. And that office, which is physically located with the Commerce Department, but also reports through the managing director's office to make sure that that we are fully coordinated on that, is, I think, a good example of the seriousness that we also believe that this issue requires.
That's an important new development. That, in my view, should not preclude leadership in departments making the future of young people a priority, as well as the overall mission of the department. So the two, for me, are not mutually exclusive. And so, to my question, is that an agenda item for all the work that Commerce does? I mean, are there entrepreneurial programs for young people on business corridors or the like? Because I think ultimately we have to think outside the box and be very innovative intentionally if we're serious about making a difference for young people.
Right. We agree with you. And again, the head of this new Office of Workforce Development actually sits in the sort of leadership group under the Commerce Director, and so is in every meeting that we have on policy across the board, whether it's neighborhood economic development, Office of Economic Opportunity, or major business attraction. It is across the board. That person is at the table for those discussions.
How often do you all meet?
Weekly.
So that's a new development where we can expect to see some tangible evidence that as a result of that office being at the table, we can see the numbers uptick, if you will, with young people being in CTE programs or related commerce, business-driven entrepreneur opportunities. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, then thank you. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Councilman Dom?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and good morning. Just a thought or an idea, since we're now in control of the school district and we have KOZs, maybe what we should be doing, and we can't do it today, but we should have this conversation with the school district, like the Navy Yard and the KOZ by University City as examples. We should build a high school in the Navy Yard, okay? And that high school should be geared towards probably technology, okay? And though we should get approval from the state to allow students in 9th to 12th grades to work 1 day a week in jobs down at the Navy Yard. And that should go on so that they can get hired either afterwards or get the work experience. We should do the same thing out at University City. And since we're in control of the school district now, that model should be duplicated wherever we can, where we have big work areas that usually are around KOZs. And the best example is Cristo Rey. You know about Cristo Rey. We
Yes.
know it's a success.
Yes.
You know that it comes from families who make less than $35,000 a year with 4 children, where many of them don't have moms or dads or don't have even grandmothers to take care of them, where they're working 1 day a week in a job. They get no city, state, or federal money. Yet 92% of the kids graduated high school and 100% last year went on to college. So we know this works. We just have to implement it. So my question is, will Commerce be willing to sit down with the school district and its council administration to discuss building a technology-type high school in the Navy Yard along with University City when we have these KOZs? Because we don't have to force it. It'll happen automatically if we have them 1 day a week working in these jobs.
Yeah, we are happy to be a part of those conversations, whether it's at the Navy Yard or anywhere else in the city where connection between education and career opportunity could sort of be matched, whether it's KOZ or not. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Councilman. Other questions or comments? Council President Darrell Clarke.
Sorry, Madam Chair. This is why I don't come into these hearings, because you guys get me a little ramped up and start pulling out documents. So, Mr. Bone, in the KOZ application, and I'm trying to figure out, in the statute, Harrisburg statute, state statute, one of the criteria it says, in number 8, proposals to implement educational opportunities and improvements, right? This is the state. Number 10, proposals to establish and link job creation and job training. So the bill that we are proposing here today does just that. So I don't understand how this is not within our jurisdiction if the state statute that creates the criteria for KOZ applicants. Explain to me why this is not something that should be in here.
Yeah, Council President, the question that you're raising here is one that was brought to our attention, I think, by your office earlier this year as we were going through this application process and as we were
Way back when, before we even approved it, right?
I think August.
Yeah.
That's right. And so we did go back to the state to sort of seek direction, because the application guidelines you're referring to speak to what must be in the application that the state receives for the state to consider and approve an application for KOZ. And we were, our counterparts at the Department of Community Economic Development, who administer the program, referred to their lawyers, and the response we got back was that was a requirement under the program, specifically in the early years, but it was excluded. The KOZ program, we've had many, many iterations of it since 1999, and each time there is a new iteration of the program, we tend to apply for some of the benefits under that newly stated program. About 8 years ago, that particular requirement was excluded.
So why is it in this bill that was passed?
It's still sitting in the state legislation, but subsequent state amendments to that legislation, which refined what the requirements were for, basically sort of made the requirement much broader, and sort of said that the application needed to be whatever the Department of Community and Economic Development asked us to submit, because all we can do is submit an application. It's the state that has to decide, did you give us everything we asked for? And they said, you have given us everything we've asked for. So
you're confusing me, and I'm sorry to my colleagues in the committee, because I know after this question I'm going to get up and leave and you all still have to sit here. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I don't understand it. I got a KOZ application that you asked us to approve. We approved. And it says in here, there's language that the applicant are required to do certain things. So did you ask the applicant to have that in here? Was there a proposal to implement an educational opportunity plan?
The city is the applicant. And so the question would be, does the city have to provide an opportunity plan?
So did we?
We were not required to.
Well,
we specifically asked the state.
How does this say that you're prohibited from doing that?
We submitted to the state in our application every document that they required in our application. And we did go back to confirm, does the state also require that we submit an opportunity plan? And the answer was no. They did not require it.
But they do not prohibit you from doing that. So,
That's right. We could submit.
Yeah, so if they don't prohibit you from doing that, why wouldn't you put it in the plan? I'm trying to understand it. We're looking out for our citizens. So if they're telling me it's okay, all right, we're not prohibiting you from asking for an opportunity plan, then why wouldn't we include that in our application process? I'm trying to understand that. If this, as you said in your earlier testimony, this is a significant issue that we want to deal with. I mean, I'm trying to understand it.
Right, but all I can sort of say is it wasn't part of our application because the state confirmed that it wasn't a required part of the application, and so.
But it's not. But they also tell you it's not prohibited.
Right, they don't prohibit us from providing additional information in our application.
Okay. All right. I said we're going to go around the mulberry bush on this one. All right. But for the record, the state said it's not required, but it's not prohibited from us asking for this information in the application.
Again, the state doesn't prohibit us from offering our opportunity plan. We're the applicant.
So what is our opportunity plan?
The opportunity plan, we weren't required to submit an opportunity plan, therefore we didn't. But it would have sort of said what we will do to sort of encourage students in CTE programs and others to get jobs. And again,
was that included in the application?
is
You're saying we're the applicant. Was that plan included in
it
the
was
application?
not, because,
All right.
no.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bowman.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bass?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to really follow up on the Council President's questions because, and not really with a question, but from the responses with a statement. And the statement is that we did not submit an opportunity plan because that is not our priority. That is not a priority. If it was a priority, it would have been done. If this was important to the administration, to the City of Philadelphia, it would have been done. It should have been done. It is absolutely unacceptable from a department that knows that we have problems with diversity and inclusion, that we know that this is a problem. So to not have submitted it because we were not required to is completely just an unacceptable answer. So I just wanted to add that in. I'm not looking for a response because I heard the back and forth with the Council President. It's just going round and round and round. But there is no excuse as to why we did not offer an opportunity plan. Even if we were not required to do it, we should have done it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you as well. More questions or comments? Thank you very much. Chair now calls on Jihad Ali and Anthony Fullard to come forward to begin their testimony. I'm sorry, did I ignore you? Did you want to make testimony, either of you, at the witness table? Please.
Good morning, Chairwoman Blackwell and members of the Committee on Finance. My name is Melanie McCautry. I'm here today as a representative of the board of Youth Build Philadelphia Charter School. Youth Build Philadelphia Charter School is highly supportive of Bill number 180935. We recognize tremendous value in requiring contractors working on Keystone Opportunity Zone projects to describe their commitment to and capacity for sponsoring students enrolled in CTE building trade programs. We believe this would include CTE building trade programs across the school district of Philadelphia, including a range of traditional comprehensive high schools, alternative schools, and charter schools. Youth Build Philadelphia and many quality training programs in schools across the city empower young people with foundational skills, technical training, and intensive personal support to prepare for successful career pathways in the building trades. Unfortunately, not all these young people are consistently connected to high-quality career opportunities in the building trades. We believe it is reasonable and appropriate to provide apprenticeship opportunities with young people working toward career pathways in the building trades. Youth Build and other schools across the district have begun to build partnerships with area unions to provide a mix of classroom and practical skills training opportunities essential for young people to enter and succeed in the building trades. But there is certainly more work that can be done to increase access. We believe this bill helps to further address that need. We strongly support this bill to create additional momentum to forge deeper commitments for career pathways in the building trades for young people who most deserve the opportunity. Youth Build Philadelphia understands that talent is spread equally across our great city. Unfortunately, opportunity is yet to spread equivalently. This bill represents a positive step toward closing this opportunity gap facing our city. Thank you.
Thank you, and we thank Youth Build for what it does. We do have one of your former leaders with us, and we agree about its importance for training and for young people being employed. Thank you. Would you like to testify? Feel free to identify yourself and begin.
Good morning. My name is Matt Stafford, and I am a field representative with the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Union. We are more than just bricklayers. The Allied Craft Workers are bricklayers, stonemasons, tile and marble setters, and masonry restoration workers. I'm glad to be here today to be able to talk to you about apprenticeships and internships and how important they are to the workforce. I think a good way to talk about this subject is to quickly tell you of my own story. I was born and raised here in Philadelphia, and in my junior and senior years of high school, I had the opportunity to attend the Philadelphia Vocational School. I took masonry and vodtech and immediately fell in love with the work. At the end of my senior year, I won a skills competition and an award was given by the Bricklayers Union. And that's how I was introduced to the apprenticeship program. I wasn't very interested in college, and at the time, it wasn't a viable option for my family. I served a 4-year apprenticeship where I learned all the aspects of masonry construction. I graduated from the program not only debt-free, but making a livable wage with health insurance and a retirement account. I rose through the ranks to journeyman, building layout foreman, and now field rep. Through hard work, I was able to start and provide for a family. When I was an apprentice, the masons that I worked alongside of taught me more than how to spread mortar and square up a building. They taught me how to be a husband, a father, a productive citizen, and a gentleman tradesman. That is the bigger picture of apprenticeships. It's the current generation teaching the next and passing down the crafts and skills needed for the future. Apprenticeship programs provide necessary on-the-job training opportunities for young people seeking career options in the bricklayers and other trade unions. The job sites in our area should look like the communities that the buildings are built in. Building owners who receive considerable tax forgivenesses should be required to offer the opportunities to area residents to earn while they learn. Apprenticeships are a proven model that integrates on-the-job training and classroom learning. From day one, an apprentice is a paid employee developing valuable skills while adding productive value on the job. The Bricklayers Union has connected with organizations such as the Philadelphia School District, Job Corps, and the Youth Build Charter School to be on the receiving end of a conduit of young people looking for the chance to build America. Labor is a thread in the fabric of the community. Let's make sure that the fabric stays strong by supporting qualified apprenticeship programs. Let's join together to give young folks great opportunities while giving the taxpayers the satisfaction that their dollars are incorporated in this good work. Feel free to contact me for more information, and I'm always looking to show off our training facility and to show off our apprentices. Thank you for your time and for your interest in this matter.
Thank you. Thank you. Anthony Fullard and then Jihad Ali. Hold on one moment. I'm sorry. Councilman Dom had questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. First of all, I'm a big fan of Youth Build. You do a great job. Thank you. And I'm very happy to hear that you're using Youth Build. I guess my question for Youth Build is, do you need more opportunities for the people in Youth Build right now?
Any more opportunities?
Yes. Like, do you need more? Like, I hear the Bricklayers Union is cooperating. Is every union cooperating with you, or are there some unions that are not?
We certainly could have more cooperation.
And so, is the Bricklayers Union that's here today, are they one of the more cooperative ones?
Yeah, they certainly are, yes.
Is there anything that you could do, sir, to help us with the other unions to get more cooperation?
Absolutely. In the summer was the first time I was introduced to Youth Build, and I said, why didn't we know this long ago? So, same thing, we need to spread this good word to the other trade unions in the area, to let them know that this source of people that are interested in construction work is available, because that's very important. You have to want to do construction work. Construction work is not easy work. Working outdoors in elements and doing hard, heavy labor is not for everybody. So to have a group of people that already have it in their mind that they want to do this work is invaluable to us.
So is it possible, not to put you on the spot, but I'll do it anyway, is it possible to have a meeting at Youth Build with 8, 9, or 10 different unions in the next few weeks to get them engaged, to actually have more of our people at Youth Build working in the field?
I think it'd be definitely doable. Yep.
So-
We had a group from Youth Build come to our facility and take a tour, and I think that all the apprenticeship programs, the other trade unions, should set up a similar walkthrough so that these young people can decide which type of work is better for them. Not everybody wants to be a bricklayer.
Right.
Other people may want to look at the other trades.
So can you coordinate together? And I'd like to be present, maybe some of my colleagues like to be there, but I'd like to know when that's going to happen. And in the next few weeks, I know Christmas is coming up, but in the next few weeks, either before or after, let's have that happen, because this is too important not to happen.
We will do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Parker?
Thank you for your courtesy, Madam Chair. Want to say a special thanks to the two representatives who are here, Matt Stafford from the Bricklayers and Melanie from Youth Build, because you all are not new to this effort to help to bring more Philadelphians into this process of benefiting from the economic prowess and growth that we see bustling in neighborhoods across the city of Philadelphia. But when our children and residents see this development taking place and don't see people who look like them or come from their neighborhoods who are benefiting from that economic prowess, it's very frustrating. So I want to say a special thank you to you. Mr. President, I want you to just, if you would affirm for me, what was that number you gave me, Mr. President? You were just sharing with Councilwoman Reynolds Brown and I about how many young people was it?
Yeah, and I hope I'm correct. My understanding that in conversations with our tech staff that you guys in a program with like 19 young people from the CTO. What is the number, Christmas? All right, I hope I'm not. It was a lot.
We did 73 from CTE, whole class.
All right. Wow. 73. All right, CTE. And I know we just had worked with the bricklayers. We have a.
Work with the bricklayers to put that relationship together.
And there's a number of. Not sure the number. I threw the number. 19 is the number.
No, but Mr. President, the point of information that I wanted to get on the record was that you affirmed for us that this Bricklayers Union had taken advantage of the opportunity to use our talent pool of our young people from the school district of Philadelphia and found a way to make space for them in their apprenticeship program. And listen, usually what we see when we see unions coming before this council, listen, we raising Cain.
Yep.
We're raising Cain because we're wanting you to do more. We're asking you to do more. And you are here today and you have a third-party independent verifier affirming what you've done. And Mr. President, did we do it via legislation or how'd that happen?
Actually, the reason, actually Dennis came to me and when we were discussing rebuild. And, you know, we were going back and forth with the administration. And Dennis Pagliata, who's the head of the Building Trades Union for the bricklayers, came to my office, asked for a meeting, and came and sat down and talked about all the things they do. And they proactively said, we'd like to get some of the young people engaged. So I didn't go to them, they came to us. So they were very serious about that. And as a result of that, this relationship was formed. And they're doing what it is they said.
Well, I just want to state for the record that, one, I want to thank you and the leadership of the bricklayers for what the president laid out that you proactively did. I want to thank you, Councilman Dom, for putting on the record your interest in seeing labor come together. But I want to note for the record that as chair of City Council's Committee on Labor and Civil Service, we will coordinate an effort relative to this legislation that we have here, our Committee on Labor and Civil Service, and we will contact you and all members of the building trades along with Youth Build, and we just won't relegate this to Youth Build in the school district of Philadelphia, but we have other independent groups that you heard Councilwoman Reynolds, Councilwoman Blackwell mention relative to CAP. That's the Construction Apprenticeship Program, and we have another one called First Builders. And so what I think we've just described is that there is a need for us to be in a room. everyone to be in a room together. And we will make sure that the school district, along with these independent programs and every member of the building trades, along with our carpenters, Mountain Plus Lakes union, that they will also be a part of it. So you'll be getting something from the Committee on Labor and Civil Service, and Mr. President and members of this committee and Madam Chair know that we will keep all members informed about that, and we will make sure that you are a part of it.
Thank you very much. This is a long time coming, so important. And as we said, we want it in Keystone Opportunity Zones, but we want it throughout all development in our city, and we look forward to hearing it through your committee, Councilwoman Parker. Councilwoman Reynolds Brown?
Good afternoon. So I need to say to you that my heart right now is very, 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 very happy. It is the first time in 18 years where I have listened to a union leader, labor leader, speak so eloquently about what we fight about on the city council 9 days a week, 72 hours a day. To hear you say that young people should reflect the community where they come from, we're reading from the same sheet of music. So I must thank you for your leadership, of you and those at your table, for leading by example, because you too see the glass as half full. And the notion that your arm did not have to be twisted, legislation didn't inspire you to do the right thing. As long as we are sending more young people to up in the Northeast and not graduating from our schools in the way that we would like to see our taxpayers' dollars spent, then we have to do something differently. So I need to say thank you. Your quote, young people should be able to earn while they learn, you're absolutely right. Because then they know that they have a semblance of hope for once they complete all of those credits. I am very, very, very grateful to hear your commitment to young people and doing intentionally, because this didn't happen organically, or maybe it did, intentionally hearing President Clarke's appeal that we need to take what you do and clone it for however many building trade unions there are, we need to clone that many times. Thank you so very, 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 very much for leading by example.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We note that Councilman Bob Heenan, our Vice Chair, is also here today. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All right, then we will ask Anthony Fuller and Jihad Ali to testify. Is there anyone else here who would like to testify on this bill?
Hey, what's up?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, I was asked to go first. So, my name is Anthony Fullard. I represent AJR in Endeavors and also West Powellton Development Company. And I'm really here to speak on a developer's perspective to support Bill 180935. And I mean, I've been in these chambers for a very long time, hearing and seeing this argument for many, many years. So hopefully we can get it right, and that the economic development that will come out of the KOZ zone, that we can begin to have apprentices gainfully employed finally within our city. And I also was very happy to hear, or I was very happy not to hear the term pre-apprentice. I've heard just the word apprentice, meaning that they will be already in the union. And that's what, and so I'm just here to make 3 points, and then I could pass this over to Jihad, who also has been in this fight for a very long time. The apprenticeship and the interns with contractors are important and necessary on-the-job training opportunities for young people seeking career opportunities in the building trades. I can speak directly to that because I was an iron worker. I was a union iron worker. That's where I started my career. as a union iron worker, and then was able to parlay those skills into owning my own steel business for about 12 years in the city of Philadelphia. I built a number of buildings around the city, and then was able to parlay that into other skill sets as relates to advocacy with the African American Chamber of Commerce, and then now to be able to develop and to build within our neighborhoods. Second point is, it is a reasonable and a appropriate to require project owners, which would represent me, who are enjoying considerable tax forgiveness, to require their contracts to provide apprenticeship opportunities to young people aspiring to be in the building trades. I mean, I support that 100%. We, again, for the first time, to hear a union, trade union, to come into these chambers and speak as proactively as the bricklayer representative is a very good start. We definitely have a number of African American and Hispanic and other people of color that are standing in the line looking for those opportunities. But what was really refreshing to my ears, and if we can underline that, especially as we move into this KOZ zone development, is that when the representative said that when he was an apprentice, that he was able to get a skill set, get a trade, and did not have to go into debt. He did not have to get and receive training for 4 years or either 5 years, graduate, and would not be in debt for, half his life, and then to be gainfully employed, to be able to have insurance, and to be able to be a homeowner, I think is a very important point that we need to focus on. And then my last point, the Bricklayers Union is partnering with the school district and Youth Build Charter School to provide classroom practical training on the job. Contractors is indispensable part of helping young people become building trades and professionals. Again, this is not new to this effort. I mean, we've done this. City Council President, I think back in 2004, when all of the economic development was going on with the schools that were being built around the city, and where that there was a commitment, not only from the bricklayers, but from a laundry list of unions that had signed on to hire young men and women to be a part of the building trades on these projects that were graduating from the Philadelphia School District. This is nothing new. I mean, this is something that we've talked about and that we have been advocating going back to 2003, 2004. So to bring that back to the table again, I think we should do this. But Councilman Dom, you had said, I've served on the board of Youth Build for over 9 years. The building trades and the name Youth Build is not new. We've advocated with the carpenters, we've advocated with the glazers, we've advocated with the fitters, and a number of the other tradesmen, because Youth Build has been out there working on housing development projects for a very, very long time. And so this is nothing new to them about Youth Build. Youth Build has been around for over 25 years in this city, but has really came to, I would think, to the forefront within the school district because of the success of the program. but it hasn't been that successful lately as related to their building trade or their construction program because of not a number of projects for their students to work on the job training. They need more of those types of programs. We need more of this development for them. And then because Youth Build vets those students, and they do have a number of those students that have signed on to the building trades through their vetting process. So it's not that they are trying to introduce the building trades to these students. These students have already made a decision that they want to be in this construction trade industry, So, again, and I don't want to belabor the point, but, there is some redundancy that has already happened before the city council. This city council has already advocated for the students at the Philadelphia School District, especially 12th graders at that time, to be able to receive membership as an apprentice in the building trades. And so hopefully that we can really make this happen, through this new bill with the development of the KOZ zoning, and right now the two development companies that I represent, and we are very proud of our projects that are in City Councilwoman Blackwell's district, there, where we have a very large presence of African Americans doing work and not labor work. We have a electrical company, mechanical company, doing all of the bricklaying work, and all of that was done by African American local individuals that live here in this city. And so if we get the opportunity to do any development on those KOZ zones, we will definitely implement this program. Definitely. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank you for the work you've been doing in Powelton Village, and thank you for what you are doing on Osage Pine. Many of you know those blocks from when you hear about MOVE. Thank you for the wonderful work you're doing there.
Thank you, Councilman.
Jihad Ali.
Good afternoon. I don't know what time it is. Good morning. Good afternoon. But my name is Jihad Ali. I'm here to give testimony this morning regarding Bill 180935, which compels this business located in Keystone Opportunity Zones to agree to the opportunity plans as outlined into this bill. I do want to say to Anthony, we have been around a long time, and we were two of the founders of the Contractors Roundtable. I can't even remember how long ago we started that, but we've been fighting this fight for a long time. I've heard about all the good things that Anthony's doing out in Copps Creek Parkway. But I wanted to start with some of the testimony that was before, because I really was confused when I heard the representative from Commerce speak, because he really talked about, he couldn't really explain what his position was. And I'm a firm believer, if you can't explain it, you don't know what you're talking about. And I don't mean that in any disrespect, but this is a serious matter, because our young people of all races, lives are at stake, and they're shut out of an industry. And the industry that they're shut out is the union industry, not construction, because they can go to a vocational school, like the representative from the building trades indicated. He went to a vocational school. But, I'm a little bit more experienced in this field, so I hear different things when people talk because I have so much time in it. But when he spoke, he said that he won a scholarship and he got an award from the union. So it implies that the union sponsored that school, right? Because they typically are not giving awards out to any other programs that the school district has. So, but furthermore, he went on to say, he talked about apprentice programs. We all agree to apprentice programs, but we're here today about the CTE program. That's what I really did. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he was here to support this bill, but he didn't say that. We're here today to hear these words. He said that he supports apprentice programs. Well, we all do it, and all those union guys do. What they don't support is CTE kids coming into that program. And just for the audience will know what CTE, Career Technical Education Programs, are programs that young people in the Philadelphia School District, I think at the 9th grade, from 9th to the 12th, they, whatever their field of study they went, the school district offers opportunities. They receive classroom training for over, at the end of that period, they would have gotten 2,000 hours of classroom training. To be an apprentice in any union, you go in, you have to receive 1,444 hours over that course of that period of 4 years, but you get on-the-job training. Because think about it. If you're in a union, you're working 5 days a week. 1 day a week, you're going to school. We got kids in the CTE program, they're in school every day learning theory. There's theory to everything. Building a wall, cutting hair, baking, whatever, all the programs they have, HVAC, all that. So they get all that training. So the problem we really have with the unions is accepting that training that they have in the classrooms as an entry into the trade as a first-year apprentice or even a second-year apprentice, because they've already got 2,000 hours of theory. They just need some on-the-job training. And it wasn't until you, Councilwoman, put that program together along with the support of the council president. You put that program together called the Penn First. And I know because I'm also a representative of the Southwest Philadelphia District Services, and we have a board on the oversight board for the new hospital, which is $1.5 billion, a hospital being built at 34th and Spruce. If it was not for that program, there would be no young people in that job. People that were in apprentice programs, like the speaker talked about from the Bricklayers Union, he would come and he would have a job. In fact, we have an ongoing fight now about the ratio of blacks and other minorities in these trades. But it was not for that program, we wouldn't have 20 people in the first class in there. Now we're up to the second class. So this is an excellent program. And just like the council president said, listen, this power has to come from this committee. Because if you listen to the administration, what they really is saying, yeah, we want business in this city. We want to spend millions. We want to give you 10 years worth of free ride on taxes. But what we don't give a damn about is young people of all colors. We don't care about them because they are the sacrificial lamb to drive that economic growth. We're going to sacrifice them. Let them make out on their own. If they go out and kill one another, so what? We don't care because this city is moving forward. We got brand new buildings going up. We don't give a damn about that. So like the council president said, you have to be on the forefront. Look, they give us some stupid idea to tell us it's in the legislation. You can read it. It hasn't changed because it's still in the regulation. And then they tell us they don't do nothing. And then further, the added insult to it, they tell you that they didn't come up with nothing but a voluntary survey that they're going to give somebody. But then if you look at their past, this council passed Penn First years ago. Penn First on every project we're supposed to see Philadelphia. Look at the reports that's supposed to be given to council. They haven't done anything. So this administration has turned their back on young people, if you ask me, and it's this council that's standing up for them. Because all we get from them is talk, oh, we don't know, we can't do. From the unions, we have to be careful what they say. First of all, when you're dealing with the unions, when you talk about that, the speaker that spoke, he's one individual talking on behalf of one local. In Philadelphia, we have regional organizations. Like Sherelle Parker talked about, we just had a consolidation of carpenters up to this called Keystone Mountain Lakes. They go from the whole state of Pennsylvania all the way down to Virginia. 40,000 men and women. Now, how can you tell me that somebody from Virginia cares about the little Asian boy, the little black boy in West and North Philadelphia? How is that even possible? Because they're not even there, that's not even their body of people. That's not their constituency. So it's the constituency of this council that you're really fighting for. And we're really fighting for opportunities because without this council, we're not going to have nothing. What we're really fighting for is the future. Because 4 years, look, in a minute, I'll be gone. I don't know why I'm the only one with gray hair, but in a minute, I'll be out here. But the young people, what we're fighting for right now, even on your program, we got people on 4-year journeys. They're already on their second year of their 4-year journey. We keep this up, we'll have people. But it's really through the efforts of this council we can make a difference. This is an excellent bill. All the points are excellent. Anthony talked about, as a developer, because I did wonder on section B where it has owner, does that include developer? Because I really think Anthony gave a good point. So if that's just clear, I think all these points are excellent. I think you're doing an excellent job.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all you've done over the years as well. I'm very glad that both of the two of you founded the Contractors Roundtable, and we're very pleased to go back that far, and for the struggle that we all have to make in order to make life better for those, our children, and those who come after us. Councilman Don?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and good afternoon. I wanted to ask you a question because your testimony is interesting to me. Randolph High School, which I've toured, actually donated a forklift to them to help their construction class. They have a tremendous welding class there, where I'm told most of the people that go through that class get jobs immediately. I don't know if you're the right person, but are we having a problem with people going to Randolph getting permanent jobs after they graduate?
Yeah, I'm not the right person for that. That would be somebody from...
I can speak to that. You probably went there, Councilman Dom, when Darrell Overton was the principal, who was a very, very good friend of mine. He has since retired. But I remember because I was on his advisory board. Actually, I am a alum of Randolph Skills Center. That's where I graduated from.
It's a great school, by the way.
Yes, and but that was all of the hard work of Darrell Overton. He advocated for that welding program. I remember when they did not have a welding program, and he was able to bring a gentleman, Joe. I forget Joe's last name, who is the welding teacher there, who was doing a yeoman's job of really educating those men and women. But yes, they do have from the last time that I spoke with Mr. Overton, that they did have a high rate of employment when those young people graduated from 12th grade, that they was going into gainful employment work because of their skill sets and also because of the program. Air Gas was a huge sponsor of that program, where they've given them a number of tools and different machines and things of that nature for them to really get the industry technology that is out there when they go out there. So yes, Randolph is a great school. I don't know where, and you should look into where they are going forward now, since Darrell Overton has left. He's only been going for, he just retired last year. So I'm still think that they are still working from some of the things that he has put in place. But there's another program, two other programs that I would like to mention there. They have a fire department program where the fire department comes in and they also educate those kids about how to become firemen. Also, there's another program where the vending machine program is an excellent program, where a number of their seniors go right into employment from that program. And I mean gainful employment too.
Okay, thank you. And so on Youth Build, how many students in Youth Build right now, or workers in Youth Build, what's the volume that need jobs right now? Give me some idea. Is it 100? Is it 200? How many people are we talking about?
Well, I don't know what the volume is of Youth Build. I would say they actually, in their cohorts, they have, and I don't know if the young lady is here, but they enroll about 220 kids per of that semester, and and then they graduate them, because these are actually high school 12th graders, maybe 11th, 12th graders, because of their age, and so they get them their high school diploma, but also they put them into different industries. Now, when I first served about 9 years ago, it was under the construction, but now they've moved into healthcare, they moved into retail, they moved into construction, they moved into other areas. So it's hard for me to say of how many of those, because some of those industries, because we are a eds and meds city. So some of them are doing very well by getting their kids, getting youth build kids hired.
Can I just add something to that? So in this council, I think it was in June of 2015, they had Youth Build come. The executive director at that time, she came. And she gave a testimony that I think it was about 400 kids that were going through that program. And what was surprising was all the kids that went through the construction program, not one of them had been accepted into the unions.
No.
And the one kid that had an opportunity to pass the test, it's an incredible story in the transcript. He passed the test. They got him, he saved up, he got a car, and then when he went up to the union, they said, you know what, we gave you the wrong test. You got to test again. Now that was a heartbreaking story. So to answer your question, we have that amount of volume coming through the program, but the problem really is in, organized building trades. That's really what the problem is.
Let me ask you one last question. Do we teach a youth build entrepreneurship and how to be a developer?
I cannot answer that question, but I don't believe they have an entrepreneur program. I think that's a very, very good point. But I will see to it that they get back to you with that.
There's two ways to look at this. One way is to try to get a job with somebody else.
Right.
And the other way is to teach them how to create their own jobs.
Right. Now, I know that we had some alums come back that did parlay their construction skill sets into running their own business. But as far as a curriculum from Youth Build, I don't know that.
Okay.
Let me just say, I want to add on that. That's a great idea because there is a program in Philly. Right now, it's called Jumpstart, and I think it's from PHDC. Now, they have that in Janie's district. I think they have it in Germantown, and they may have one in North Philly, but they have it in different areas. It's a preliminary program. Like if you go, I went to the program through my association, but it's a preliminary program. But that idea is excellent because if we make it more intense, we can graduate a future developer.
Right. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I think the person I'm familiar with is Ken Weinstein, who does his Jumpstart.
Right. Yep.
You should probably reach out to him and see if he could maybe teach a class there.
Yep.
Because if we can't get you into the unions, maybe we just start your own company.
That's right. That's right.
So thank you very much for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you all very much. Anyone else to testify on this bill? Thank you very much. We're going to